This episode of Rand's Indie Spotlight is all about Ink, which released this past week on the Xbox One and PS4. I'm playing the Xbox One version. It retails for $10 and is developed by Zack Bell Games, published by Digerati, and a review copy was provided by the publisher for the purpose of this video. So what exactly is Ink and would I recommend it? That's what it's going to be about. So let's get into it, shall we? Ink is basically a fast-paced platformer about using paint to uncover your surroundings. Now, unlike other platformers where you can easily see the level before you, when you start a new level in this game, the terrain is completely invisible to you. And how you uncover the level and beat it is kind of a interesting mechanic. They want you to die over and over. So when you run into terrain, when you jump, when you double jump and spray paint everywhere, it lands on, the blocks, the things that you can actually get to. And when you do die, it doesn't wipe. The room isn't wiped clean, so you can see where you need to go. And it's pretty that simple. The game isn't that long, so this isn't going to be a long video. And the goal of each level is the same. Get to the end. If there's enemies in a room, you kill them all, which will activate the portal to get to the next one, and you do that, rinse and repeat, for the 75 levels that are in the game. And they're kind of put into three distinct categories, or three worlds, so to speak, which each world is kind of punctuated by a boss encounter. And I did feel that the game progresses nicely and increases the challenge as you go. Because in the beginning, it's just more of platforming, getting used to the controls. And I'm not the biggest fan of the controls. I felt they were too floaty. Some of the mistakes that I was making, I don't think they were necessarily my fault, but I mean, you get used to it as you play. They eventually add enemies that you have to kill to get through the end of the levels. And then in the second world, they start adding enemies that shoot moving platforms. And then eventually they add enemies that shoot homing shots at you, spikes and things like that, to make the game a little bit harder for you to go through. But I really kind of did enjoy the idea of getting into a level and not seeing where you're supposed to go, and kind of through trial and error seeing how the level is laid out and then trying to beat it. Now, it's not a long game. Even though it has 75 levels, it only took me between an hour and a half to 2 hours to beat all 75 levels. So this is a short game, but it is a fun game. So it does have that going for it. The achievements and trophies, this one's going to be a tough completion and a tough platinum out there. I mean, not only do you have to beat all the levels, which of course is standard, but you also have to beat each level without dying, and that is going to be quite a challenge, considering for most of the levels you're not going to know what you need to do. So you're going to need that a great memory to remember, oh, at this point there's a drop off here. So that is going to be quite the challenging feat, to be able to beat all the levels without dying. There's also secret coins that you can get to that, of course, just like the terrain in the game, they only show up if you spray your paint on them. Now, in my 2 hours of playtime, I really did enjoy this game. I thought it was fun, I thought the mechanic was neat, and I did feel the rise in challenge, very nice. Like, overcoming some of the later levels was very, fulfilling. The problem is, it's $10, and it's only going to last a couple hours. I am not sure fans that aren't, of the platform genre are going to get a lot of use out of this game. So if you aren't a fan of platforming, then I would completely skip this game. It isn't really for you. But if you are a platform fan, if you want a nice little challenge and a nice little game that will last you 2 to 3 hours to go through and maybe try to perfect, then yeah, pick the game up for $10. Otherwise, just completely skip or avoid altogether, because the short playtime mixed with the kind of high price I don't really think most people out there are going to enjoy this game. This is kind of strictly for hardcore platforming lovers out there. Anyways, that's my review for Ink. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's available right now for the Xbox One and PS4 for $10. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button. Consider subscribing to the channel for more content. And I'll see everybody in the next video. Later, guys.